Afternoon, everybody. This is our last developer session of the day, and I think it's a pretty good one. We've got Klaus Kalberg, who's the SVP of Brand and Licensing Strategies for Rovio, otherwise known as the creators of Angry Birds. I'm pretty sure you probably, who has a copy of Angry Birds on some sort of device? Well, there you go.
Yep.
So without further ado, I'm going to let Klaus take it away and tell you all about it.
Okay, thank you, Lana. Hi everyone, and tervetuloa to this Angry Birds presentation. Actually, no, I met at least one Finn here tonight or this afternoon that would probably have some complaints about my Finnish accent. I'm not Finnish, but represent this Rovio Entertainment or Rovio Mobile. And I will give you a little background about the success with Angry Birds. And my name is Klaus Kalberg. I'm the bird watcher at Rovio, which means that I am overseeing the brand strategies and licensing for Angry Birds globally. And I have Larry Seidman from Dimensional Branding Group in San Francisco, representing Rovio for promotions in the US market. It's great to be here today, and I will give you, as I said, a brief background and history about Rovio and the Angry Birds. And it will give you again, background over the success with the Angry Birds. I just got a message from my colleagues in Barcelona, the World Congress, the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. We were actually awarded the App of the Year today, so we're quite proud of that. Thank you. First, a couple of words about Rovio. The company was founded in 2003 by 3 students in Finland. And they had a great passion for making games. They started a company focused on mobile development. At the time, the main customers were the big publishers, mobile operators, and device manufacturers. Gamers, or people who played games with their console or PCs, were seen as the main audience at that time. In 6 years' time, Rovio produced more than 50 different game titles for third parties. So since then, the landscape of mobile gaming has been shifting in the last couple of years. iPhone launched in 2007 and has been steadily growing its market share in the gaming business. People who enjoyed mobile games were no longer only gamers, but basically anybody with a smartphone. A decision was made at Rovio to enter this fast-growing market with an original title that would make an impact. So we started to elaborate with different characters and figures. And we wanted to create something unique, something original, something that would really stand out from the competition in the App Store marketplace. This is one of the first images that was created by our game designer, Jarkko Isalo. So, and he called it just the birds. So we started with these birds and everybody loved them. It was basically birds with big eyebrows. And everybody liked them from the very beginning. This is another, well, it's actually the first Finnish screenshot that was approved by everyone, but no one really didn't know how to play it. So we added the slingshots, and all of a sudden it was so obvious how to play the game. Everyone knows how to, use a slingshot. So that's how it started.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hold on to that.
Do I get to keep this?
Yes.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So this is an example how the polishing and fine-tuning of the game started. So, and since that, we have, constantly tried to fine-tune and develop the game. Same with the characters. they were designed to be instantly recognizable, bright primary colors, and shapes, and basic shapes that let the players know what they actually were doing. We have the black one that is shaped like a bomb, and it actually explodes. So here's another of the early screenshots. So during the 8 months of development, the game was polished even more. 5 different birds were developed, a variety of graphical themes were created, and the first published game had 63 different levels. The game has been developed further enough and constantly through regular updates, and there are now 225 levels and 7 different birds, and there are more birds to come. This was the great challenge, and that's what we needed to polish the game and actually make it stand out on the App Store. Competition is harsh, and a single app has no alternatives but to get successful through sales and featured by Apple to get discovered by the consumers. And this was actually when we started. We have even, I think it's double now, apps in the App Stores. While the proprietor of the marketplace makes significant profits from the long tail of the digital retail, most individual developers does not. So this shows the average profit actually on an app is 15,000 US, which is quite low. The top 10 make some money, top 5 some good money, and the top apps are the ones that really are grossing. What we did to get the attention, we tried to do things differently. So we actually created a cinematic trailer that was launched on YouTube. And it has, up to now, we have 6 million, then 19 million viewers or views on YouTube. So this was a way to think differently and to get the attention for the brand and for the game. So at the beginning we did not sell that well. We decided to focus on our efforts on the smaller markets. After we have been number 1 in Finland and in Sweden and Greece, we were actually number 1 in these territories. The App Store took notice of the game and featured it on the App Store. So we got some support over there, and it instantly became number 1 in UK market, and a couple of months later in the US market, and that after that we have been on top of 80 different markets around the world, and we have remained that top 3 position. It's just a nice picture where we are established today on paid applications, on free applications, and you can even see some markets in Brazil we don't even have an app store available, but we are still on top of the other devices. So up to now, this is actually by the end of the year, and this is from December last year, so they are not updated, but we have now 25 million paid App Store downloads per today. We are in 80 countries, and we have about, and that last figure is not updated, but we I think have about 15 million users or ad-supported Android version today. So the 50 million downloads, total downloads, include all free, ad-supported and paid downloads. And the figures have been amended recently, and towards May, June, we'll reach a total of 100 million downloads. And we expect to have over 200 million downloads by the end of this year. Here's just some platforms the game were released on in 2010. It's an iOS, Palm, WebOS, and Symbian. This year, we will also have the Mac and PC version, and for Sony PSP, coming out very soon, next couple of weeks. This is just a picture to show, some feedback we have from our great fan base. This is a boys' room that was actually decorated by his father. They sent us the picture. And this is before we had any merchandise out in the market, so they actually created everything themselves. We get these cupcakes. And naturally, you can't have an iPhone cake without the Angry Birds on the home screen, so we even got that one. And people actually send us cakes to the office in Finland. We have released a special version of the game, the Angry Birds Seasons. The first installment was the Halloween-themed episode, which we thought would be a fun thing and maybe activate more fans, and it really did. This is what we got people around the world. And again, we didn't have anything out in the market at that time, so this is what people have done themselves at their homes, creating these characters. Our first in-app purchase, the Mighty Eagle character, was launched just ahead of the Christmas 2010. So what we did was, you could actually, buy the Mighty Eagle on your handset, which means that you get further in the game. It helps you to, go past some of the levels. It's not cheating, it's just another way to, get faster through. We are also leveraging our position as the #1 app on Android and introducing our own operator payment system called the Bad Piggy Bank. This is actually a brand in itself. With the Bad Piggy Bank, we try to bring the convenience of the operator billing back to the current platform-driven app marketplace. So many consumer studies and statistics shows that the consumers in both Europe and US, for example, prefer operator billing to credit card purchase. So we just created this very simple way to pay for the app. And again, the Bad Piggy Bank is now a well-known brand. With the Bad Piggy Bank, Angry Birds players can, for example, opt out of advertisement or purchase content like the Mighty Eagle in a very straightforward way. We want to offer the consumers more choice and the most convenient service in the industry. With a global fan base of millions of users, we are now introducing the merchandise. We have signed up a couple of licensees already. We had Commonwealth Toys on the Toy Fair. They announced on Sunday that they sold over 1 million pieces of the plush. We have Mattel launching a board game this week at the Toy Fair as well. And we are going to launch a lot of merchandise around the world, starting here at the Toy Fair, but we will go country by country with companies that we think is suitable for the brand. So this is the very brief presentation of the Angry Birds and Rovio, and we will be happy to answer questions from you now. Larry and I would be here to answer any kinds of question you have
Just
about
put up
Angry
your
Birds.
hands.
Sorry?
I was going to say, just raise your hands. Anybody? Ask questions.
I was just wondering how your revenue compares in terms of the ad-driven platform on the Android as opposed to the downloads, the straight downloads.
What was that? From the App Store versus the free downloads?
The iPhone, the App Store downloads versus the ad-driven Android revenue model. Which do you feel is going to be the growth area in the future?
Well, I mean, the App Store, the downloads from the App Stores are the very good base, but what we see is that the bigger revenue stream is from the advertisement. So,
Yeah, I actually the advertising from the Android is a huge revenue producer, over $1 million a month. It's going to equal, who knows what the ending's going to be, but it's very significant. And it's still, as somebody mentioned earlier in a presentation, the Android is still Wild West, and advertising right now is the way that Angry Birds is approaching it.
I have a question. Do you know, have you done some, do you have any idea why it is so successful? I mean, I have my opinion, I love Angry Birds. It's the eyebrows and all kinds of things,
Yeah.
but do you have any idea? Really?
well,
Besides the fact that it's a good game.
yeah, I mean, one of the, I mean, it's easy to learn, but it's hard to master, which is a good base. And I think also, I mean, the characters as such, I mean, they are quirky, they are, different, they are good fun. So I think it's a combination of that. And also, I mean, the slingshot and the way it works, it's very different from everything else that is on the market right now.
We were recently at the CES conference in Vegas, and got asked us a lot. And I think there are about 5 or 6 reasons why it works. And when you list these reasons, there are intangibles that were taking place too. One is the branding of it, and name. They didn't call it Lovebirds. They call it Angry Birds. And if you think about the time frame when it was originally launched, it was a time in Europe and here that, had a little angry, some societal things going on. The timing was important. It had really iconic characters, simple but iconic. And the play pattern, everybody talks why it's intoxicating and why it's addicting. And it's a little bit like, because we work with a number of other brands like Skee Ball, that was a big hit last year. The play pattern is simple. There's no instructions to Angry Birds. And a type of thing, and even in the gambling way, it's not unlike a slot machine. People have different opinions, but I think it's true that, people that do slot machines, you keep on, it used to be like this, and now it's like that. Well, this is just a little flick, and you do it. And the thing that's very interesting about it, in a time of the interactive world that is sped up in the video games, where it's very fast, if you think about Angry Birds, it slows you down. You can only go so fast. You have to go back to do it. You have to keep going back to do it. And even if you clear a level, you want to get a better time. And it really challenges you. And the mechanics of the game, I think that Klaus and I, when you talk to the folks back there, it's physics-based. And it's based on rules of gravity, velocity, and mass. And unlike the slot machine, which you can't predict, you actually can get a better trajectory, to score points, and you can learn how to beat the game. And I think the last thing of the perfect storm is, you can't. Klaus and I were talking about at lunch. You can't you can't create passion for a brand through marketing, or just gameplay. Fans, if you go out like we do, the fans are unbelievable. If I wear this T-shirt, I love Angry Birds, and it goes from 3-year-olds to people that are 80 years old. There's no demographic, so it's a very exciting brand to work with.
Yeah, people are passionate about the characters and about the brand and game. So, but how to build that passion is something. I think it has a lot to do with the characters, because I mean it's somehow it has humor. It has that they have the. I mean the elements of being good fun and as you say, easy to play, easy to learn. I mean, it's no instructions. So I think people actually expect us to add stories to the characters, to the to the world. Because if you have read about their environment. I mean, there's a lot to do to actually build it outside the gaming environment. So I think that the characters are very much, they're likable.
Yeah. And it was a calculated game. They did research before they launched the game. And just quickly, they asked the questions. They found out what people found difficult about the game, excited, and boring before they launched it. So they were testing consumers.
Yeah.
Are you in fact thinking about developing these characters for TV at some point?
Well, at some point, yes. Maybe not traditional TV, but somehow we will make animations, we will make short stories, we will, produce, storylines for publishing, for TV, and eventually for film as well. But we haven't decided when and how. We will not go the traditional way to produce 52 half hours or 52 5 minutes or whatever. We will, try to do it differently, and also to use the actual power of the smartphones. It could be released on the smartphones rather than being released on traditional broadcasters. So yes, absolutely, and we are being approached by a lot of people in the marketplace that like to work with us and create stories and develop the world, because it's really a global brand that has been built through the game. And I mean, the difference between Angry Birds and other games is that we actually built this brand to be a global recognizable brand. So we're very excited to build that part as well.
It's one other piece. There's a lot of games that are sort of. There's a lot of games that are sort of easy to start playing and hard to stop playing and so on, and follow that formula. Yours is excellently leveled so that a novice can get started and so on. It's just got this elegant simplicity. But there's also an underlying craziness to it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching you talk, and I'm trying to wonder where that craziness is, or is it you, or that's sort of in the DNA of this product. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's really an important. I mean, to your credit, you're hurling birds at the audience during the talk. That's good. That's sort of Angry Birds-ish. Are there other people?
Well, I don't have the one answer to that question, but I think, it's really, have anybody been in Finland here? I mean, okay, no, but yeah, you have. But anyway, I think, the guys, the creators, they are, they have the humor. I mean, they are testing it, the game and the ideas. It's very it's a very relaxed environment, and these guys, in Finland it's dark 6 months of the year it's dark, and they don't spend too much time outside. So they were having the time to create the stories and the games and the quirkiness, I think. But it's all about, I think also, coming back to the success, I think it was all a lot to do with the timing as well, when it was launched, of course. But to answer your question again, I think that was, they really wanted to find something that was somehow sticking out from the mass, and the idea of creating birds that with eyebrows, I cannot really say how it came up, if they were on drugs. I don't think they were, but anyway, that was the whole point. It should be good fun. It should be different. It should be quirky. So that, together with the actual, the market research that they did was, this is the result of that.
And they don't look at things from the way the industry is. I would say that beating the people who we know, they want to do things differently.
Yeah.
And have that excitement. They don't talk. They beat, they have that screech. That was calculated. They don't talk. They don't really have names. Outside of their piggies, but that's all could be in the future. We're not the creators, but it's an interesting. It was very calculated. I do think that they wanted to create a game, and I think a fact that wasn't up there. They did 50 games before Angry Birds. 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had some experience before they went into this. So I think that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, and people in the industry, you've been here all day and listening to about apps. This is an interesting statistic. The Venture branding represents Skee-Ball. Skee-Ball was the #3 app in last year on iPhone. And we were #1 at Christmas a year ago. And Angry Birds was #1 this year. We were #10 this Christmas, Skee-Ball, and Angry Birds is #1. We did as much revenue at #10 than we did as #1 a year before. All the phones coming out, so the metrics of what's a hit, and what volume is, obviously is changing. Angry Birds is phenomenal because there's never been an app that's turned into a brand that's been original content until Angry Birds. And I think there's going to be other great brands in the future, but for a brand to be #1 for over a year in this space to start is remarkable.
Yeah, and it seems to work globally. I mean, it seems that everyone actually, appreciates, the quirkiness and the characters. It's not like you can see that it's Western Europe or United States or wherever. It's globally. I mean, it's really, really globally. We get request inquiries from everywhere in the world. So it's really amazing to see.
Yeah, Klaus and I think there's only 1 degree of separation between people that are knowing somebody that played Angry Birds. It's true. So I think it's true.
Yes. Bad Bank, could you talk a little bit about that and what kind of incrementality you saw in Bad Bank, what your plans?
The Bad Piggy Bank?
The Bad Piggy
I mean, it was. I mean, originally it was just a way to make it easier for the consumers to pay, right? It was a payment system. So then we branded it the Bad Piggy Bank, and that has become actually a brand that the operators ask us to use, right? So I mean, it's again the simplicity of this, of the system. It has to be very easy, to pay for downloads, or if you want to, activate the advertisement, you can just pay for the game, right? So then we branded it with the Bad Piggy Bank, and that's actually going to be, products out for, merchandise right now. Real piggy banks. So I think that's very much how we think. We build the brand Angry Birds. Whatever we do, we try to, incorporate new brands or something that is, relevant to the mother brand. So.
I have a question. You mentioned that there was a lot of consumer research conducted beforehand before you actually launched it at Apple. Can you talk a bit about the results of that? Like, what did the consumer research show? What did people like? What did they not?
Larry, filling?
Other than the game was a result of groups, it wasn't a major. I don't believe it was a major. It was done in Finland, and there were small groups that came in and they observed people playing the game. I do know that they observed people watching the game, and out of that, and I think it's interesting, they eliminated what they felt was boring. They try to keep the exciting stuff and modify the difficult stuff. If you think about it, the game appeals to video gamers and people that don't play video games at all. And they found some way that, if you talk to people, my son's a big gamer, he likes Angry Birds and he plays some really complicated games. It's the opposite of that. It's a very simplistic game. And I think out of that, that was, what we've been told.
And they had some experience from like 5-6 years of making games for third-party or partners, so they knew, pretty much about the gaming market. Any more questions?
Anybody else? I have one. Wait.
It's back there.
Yeah.
What was your initial investment in Angry Birds?
It was $100,000.
Yeah, about.
Yeah.
And did you dream that it would be this big?
Sorry?
Did you dream that it would be this big?
No. No one did.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little about your collaboration with Rio, the movie?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, we're a small company, based in Helsinki, Finland, and all of a sudden we are, being approached by all the, the big players, the studios, the producers. Everyone wants to do things with us and play with us. So actually, Fox came to us with an idea because they have the birds in the movie, and they asked us if we could, develop something, a cross-promotional game with them. So that's how it started, and it was a very quick decision, and it happened very, in a short time span. So and it became quite big. We were on Super Bowl the other weekend, so that's I mean the beauty of this. I mean being global and actually being able to bring them or to build a brand like we have done. That everyone actually wants somehow to collaborate with us, and we seem to be, a neutral partner that anyone could play with. So we were approached by them. Simple as that.
So from a game perspective, what's next? Is it more themes, but specific to the game? What do you have planned?
Well, we're going to add some new characters to the game. We're going to, make development in the game and in, the game mechanics. So, and we're going to expand the world of Angry Birds outside the game as well. But we have to constantly develop the game and come up with new seasons, themes, etc., etc. We have to be on top of the App Store and to be on top, we have to develop the content.
I think every 4 weeks they do something. Is about their timetable these days, and it's been out in the press. That's about right. Either a new level, usually do 10 to 14 new levels at a time.
Regarding the deal that you have with Mattel about board games and toys, is it a worldwide deal, or is only for Europe, or?
The Mattel deal is a global deal, and as the brand is global, we would like to work with global partners, and in some areas we would work with our local partners as well. But both the Commonwealth Toys and Mattel is global partners.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
No more?
We have a few extra plush. We don't have enough for everybody, but we will give out whatever we have left when we come back.